Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is draw a picture of what's going on here because that's going to give you a much better idea of what kind of calculations you have to do. So, a picture of what's going on here might look something like this. You've got your river with the blue borders, and it's flowing at 4.6 meters per second in this direction, which we're going to end up calling the x direction. And then you've got your boat, which is angled 59.5 degrees away from the flow of the river, and it's traveling with a magnitude of velocity of 5.79 meters per second. So, we want to get an idea of how the flow of the river plus the motion of the boat affects the final velocity of the boat. So the next thing we're going to want to do is break down the velocity of the boat into its components, into its x and y components. So that's going to take some trigonometry, as you can see here, and you can take the sine of the angle multiplied by the overall velocity to get the y component of the motion, and then you can take the cosine to get the x component of the motion. Now that you have that, that allows you to take the total velocity in the x direction, both the 4.60 meters per second from the flow of the river, and also the 2.94 meters per second from the rowers in the boat. And with both of those working together, you end up with a total of 7.54 meters per second for the magnitude of velocity in the x direction. And then for the magnitude of velocity in the y direction, the flow of the river isn't contributing anything to that. So you're only going to have the 4.99 meters per second resulting from the rowers in the boat. So now that you have both those components, you need to put them together in order to get the overall magnitude of velocity. And then with that, you're also going to end up calculating the direction of the velocity. So in order to get the overall magnitude of velocity, you're going to take the Pythagorean theorem, and you've got the y component of velocity squared plus the x component of velocity squared. You add those together and then take the square root of them to get the magnitude of 9.04 meters per second for the overall magnitude of velocity. And then in order to calculate the direction of the motion, you need to just take the inverse tangent of 4.99 meters per second divided by 7.54 meters per second. And that gives you this alpha angle here, which is 33.5 degrees away from the flow of the river. So a boat being rowed 5.79 meters per second, angled 59.5 degrees to the flow of the river, moves at a rate of 9.04 meters per second at an angle of 33.5 degrees away from the river's flow.